Your morning routine might come with more than just a scramble. Depending on where you buy your eggs, it could come with a side of regret. Behind those neatly arranged cartons and cheerful farm-fresh labels lies a hidden risk that could turn your breakfast into a health gamble. If you think all eggs are created equal, think again. The truth hidden beneath some of those smooth shells might just crack your trust in the very stores you rely on. And leading the pack in egg-related red flags is none other than Dollar General. While the idea of grabbing a carton of eggs at a dollar store might sound like a budget-friendly win, it's often more like playing Russian roulette with your stomach. Dollar General has aggressively expanded its refrigerated food sections, but their storage infrastructure is still lagging dangerously behind. A 2023 USDA report found that over 75% of Dollar General stores failed basic food safety checks for perishables. We're talking about malfunctioning refrigeration units, eggs stored above the legal temperature limit, and improper stock rotation. One former store manager even admitted their approach was simply to hope no one noticed when coolers broke down, a strategy that's more about wishful thinking than food safety. Even more alarming is their sourcing strategy. Dollar General often buys from opportunity distributors, meaning eggs that were rejected by other retailers or are nearing expiration. That carton on the shelf might have bounced between trucks and warehouses for days before arriving in store, completely untraceable. In fact, one supply chain consultant described their sourcing as a black hole, with no clear trail of origin or transit time. Their packaging only makes things worse. Thin plastic or foam containers that barely provide insulation, leaving eggs vulnerable to condensation, bacterial growth, and damage. And despite the bargain image, you're not even saving that much. Studies show Dollar General eggs are only around 10 to 15% cheaper than supermarket options. But the real cost might be your health. Customers have shared disturbing images online. Cracked eggs resealed with tape, cartons streaked with dried yolk, and even one case of a live insect crawling inside a sealed container. With such minimal staffing, often just 1 or 2 employees running the entire store, it's no surprise the egg section is left unchecked for hours. In one viral video, a shopper filmed unrefrigerated eggs sitting out for most of the day with no employee in sight. The only thing colder than the eggs was the mood in the store. So while not every budget store cuts corners so recklessly, Dollar General's combination of poor storage, unreliable sourcing, and thin oversight turns egg buying into a high-stakes gamble. You might get breakfast, or you might get bacteria. You'd think that a retail giant like Walmart, with its scale, logistics network, and sheer reach, would have egg safety down to a science. But behind the low prices and farm-fresh labels lies a series of red flags that no savvy shopper should ignore. In a 2021 multi-state quality survey, Walmart eggs had the highest rate of visible cracks, dirty shells, and mold spots on cartons. Yes, mold growing outside the packaging before you even open it. Mold on the exterior often points to deeper problems: poor refrigeration, improper handling, or cross-contamination from inside the shell. Unless you're inspecting each egg like a forensic detective, you could unknowingly bring home a carton full of hidden hazards. Walmart keeps prices low by partnering with high-volume egg producers, industrial-scale operations where hens are crammed into tight cages, barely able to spread their wings. This overcrowding doesn't just raise ethical questions. It also leads to increased disease transmission, broken shells, and dirty conditions. According to a whistleblower from a major supplier, the production line resembled a factory more than a farm. "If one egg was cracked, we just wiped it off and kept going," he said. That kind of corner cutting helps explain why customers often open cartons to find sticky, broken messes that look more like biology experiments than breakfast. Temperature control is another issue that flies under the radar. Eggs need to be stored below 40 degrees to remain safe. But mystery shoppers using infrared thermometers found eggs in multiple Walmart stores sitting in open displays reaching up to 52 degrees F, well above the legal limit in many states. Once eggs warm up, bacteria like Salmonella multiply rapidly, and by the time you crack one open, the damage is already done. And don't let the grade A labels fool you. The USDA grading system is purely aesthetic. It tells you nothing about safety or nutritional quality. It's all about appearance, how smooth the shell looks, how firm the yolk stands. It's like judging a book by its cover and ignoring whether the pages are soaked in mold. So even if Walmart eggs look perfectly fine at a glance, you won't know what you're getting until it's too late. And when it comes to something as fragile and potentially risky as eggs, the gamble isn't one worth taking. You might assume that a discount chain like Aldi would be at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to egg quality, but the reality is more complicated. Aldi eggs land in an awkward middle zone, low in price, but equally low in consistency and transparency. On the surface, Aldi offers a wide variety of house brand eggs labeled as farm fresh or cage-free. But a deeper look reveals that many of these cartons come from the exact same suppliers, just repackaged under different names. And that cage-free label, it doesn't mean hens are living the good life. It simply means they're not confined in literal cages. It says nothing about air quality, natural light, or living space. A 2021 inspection of an Aldi egg supplier revealed serious concerns. Rodents in the facility, broken ventilation systems, and egg storage temperatures that fluctuated dramatically throughout the day. Inspectors found dozens of cartons sitting for hours in unrefrigerated loading zones before being shipped to stores, compromising both safety and shelf life. The result is eggs that spoil faster than expected, and with a quality that swings wildly from week to week. Customers report opening one carton to find decent eggs, only to grab a new batch a few days later that smells like sulfur bombs waiting to detonate. Within a single dozen, the sizes and colors can vary so much that it's like buying a mystery pack of socks. One baby sock, one wool liner. That kind of inconsistency often signals poor sorting and loose quality control. And Aldi's packaging doesn't help matters either. The cartons are usually made of thin plastic or fragile pulp that offers little protection during transport. Drop it once on the way from the shelf to your cart, and you might as well buy a mop. Worse still, some Aldi egg packages don't show a visible sell-by or expiration date on the top flap, forcing shoppers to hunt for tiny print on the bottom, like they're deciphering a hidden code. Need assistance? Good luck. Aldi's ultra-lean staffing model means the same person restocking crackers might also be handling dairy, checking out customers, and chasing carts in the parking lot. To complicate things even more, Aldi switches egg suppliers frequently, choosing whichever can offer the lowest bid at the time. That means your eggs could come from Iowa one week and a completely different facility in Missouri the next, making it nearly impossible to track freshness or hold anyone accountable. In a test across 15 Aldi stores, over 30% were found to have egg displays above the recommended storage temperature. Combine that with unpredictable suppliers and weak packaging, and you've got a recipe for breakfast that can go from sunny side up to stomach flu in no time. Safeway might not scream danger at first glance. Their egg displays look clean, orderly, and professionally stocked. But beneath that polished surface lies a track record of quiet recalls, inconsistent freshness, and packaging issues that could turn your sunny side up into a sick day. One of the most serious concerns with Safeway is how poorly they handle recalls. In 2019, a Salmonella outbreak linked to one of their egg suppliers triggered a multi-state recall. But instead of posting clear warnings in-store or alerting customers through loyalty programs, Safeway buried the notice in a rarely visited section of their website. If you weren't actively hunting down recall alerts like a trained investigator, you would have never known. One shopper only found out after her child got sick, and the doctor traced the illness back to contaminated eggs. When she called the store, the manager casually said, "We posted it online." That's like whispering a fire alarm into a closet and expecting everyone to evacuate. Safeway's recall transparency has been criticized by multiple consumer watchdogs, and a 2022 survey found that less than 15% of shoppers were aware of a major recall, even though over half had purchased eggs during the affected period. This isn't just a communications failure, it's a public health risk. Technically, the company meets the legal requirements, but in practice, their efforts are as effective as an empty fortune cookie. Freshness is another recurring issue. Safeway's stock rotation is less consistent than other major chains, especially in dense urban stores, where foot traffic is high and staff is stretched thin. Customers frequently report finding expired eggs still on the shelves, sometimes up to a week past the sell-by date. Even if expired eggs don't always make you sick, they lose quality fast, runny whites, sulfury smells, and yolks that break at the first poke. And the packaging doesn't help. Safeway often uses the cheapest pulp cartons, the flimsy gray ones that soak up moisture and collapse under the lightest pressure. If your eggs survive the trip home without cracking, it's more luck than design. Don't count on much in-store assistance either. Many Safeway locations are understaffed, especially during early morning and late evening hours. One former employee admitted the egg section was checked maybe once a shift, unless there was a visible mess. That means broken or leaking eggs can sit for hours, slowly oozing across neighboring cartons, like a scene from an egg-themed horror movie. So while Safeway might not look like a risk at first glance, the real story is quietly waiting inside that unassuming carton, and it's not always one you want to bring home. At the end of the day, buying eggs isn't as simple as tossing a carton into your cart. With 4 major grocery chains, each showing their own version of neglect, whether it's the invisible recalls at Safeway, the supplier roulette at Aldi, the bacterial breeding grounds at Dollar General, or the broken messes and storage violations at Walmart. It's clear that the real danger isn't just what's in the carton, but how it got there. Eggs are fragile, but so is the trust we place in the stores that sell them. And once that trust cracks, it's not easily restored. One overlooked crack, one unnoticed temperature swing, and suddenly breakfast becomes a petri dish of risk. Even a perfectly good-looking egg can be hiding something dangerous. Salmonella doesn't announce itself with bad smells or odd textures. And when one contaminated egg leaks onto the others, it turns a small problem into a dozen. Washing your eggs won't solve the issue either. In fact, it can strip away the natural protective layer and invite bacteria in through microscopic pores. The only way to prevent these problems is through care at every level. Responsible sourcing, reliable cold chain logistics, trained staff, and stores that treat eggs with the seriousness they deserve. If you're wondering whether spending an extra $1 on better eggs is worth it, consider the real cost of getting it wrong. Food poisoning, missed school, hospital bills. That carton of eggs represents more than just breakfast. It's a chain of decisions that can either protect your health or put it at risk. So next time you reach for a dozen, pause for a second. Feel the cooler. Check the shells. Look at the date. Ask yourself, was this handled with care or tossed around like a dodgeball in a gym? Because in the wrong hands, even the cleanest-looking egg can become a very expensive mistake. Good eggs don't just come from good farms. They come from systems that prioritize safety, accountability, and consistency, from barn to shelf to fridge. And no label, price tag, or pretty packaging can make up for that. If this cracked open a few new thoughts for you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more hard-boiled truths about the food you trust. Because sometimes breakfast really is a matter of trust, and your gut might just depend on it.